Hi, kindergarten. It's Miss Keeley here. First off, you guys all did an amazing job with the first step of your bubble movement project. Most of them, if you take a look at the screen right now, should look something like this. I did love that even though you probably didn't have the same materials at home, you still were able to get it done. And so awesome. But your paper should be looking something like this, where you have your circles that you turn into bubbles by adding that little highlight. And you use primarily like a white, um, either crayon, chalk, oil pastel, something, or if you didn't, you um, stuck to like one color to add in those details. Today, we are going to add some actual color. When I think about going outside and blowing some bubbles, the thing that I think is so cool is that it kind of if you look at a bubble up close, there's kind of like a reflected rainbow in the bubble. Um, but bubbles are also still clear. So when I'm showing you the steps today, I want you to keep in mind that we still need to make our bubbles look kind of clear. Um, but we're still going to add a little bit of color so that it does look kind of rainbow-ish, okay? So what you're going to need today is, again, if you have crayons, awesome. You're going to pick any kind of colors of crayons you have. So if you have like a crayon box, grab that. That would work. If you have chalk, bunch of different colors of chalk. If you use colored pencils, bunch of different colors, okay? Again, in my video, I am using oil pastel. So I'm going to press play. And so I'm going to pick one color. So I start with red. And I'm only going on the inner edge of my circles. And I'm not going fully around. I'm kind of doing the top to the side and kind of bottom to the side. Then I want to pick another color. So you're going to pick maybe like 3 or 4 colors max for a bubble. I pick orange, and same thing. I'm going right next to my red and I'm kind of keeping it close to the edge. You want to make sure that you skip over our little highlights because we don't want to color those in. And so you're just adding kind of a thin layer of color. So I picked yellow for my last one, and then green will probably be the last color that I choose because we don't want to do more than 4 in a circle. So if you notice, I left the middle of my bubble pretty empty. It's just you can see the black paper through the background. I kind of have some of my edges that are left plain. Um, and that's because this is going to give it that kind of see-through clear look, okay? Um, and then when you're doing your all the rest of your bubbles, you're going to repeat the same thing, but you can kind of pick whatever colors you want. So my next one, I do a dark blue color, same thing right on that inner edge on both sides. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I do purple right next to it. I'm trying not to really leave any black between the colors. I know on this first bubble you can kind of see I left a little black space, but we do want to keep it kind of close in next to each other, okay? So I do purple, blue, pink, and you can see some colors do show up a little bit better on um, the type of paper that you pick. I'm going to fast forward a little bit more. I do a peach color, moving on to my next one. And so again, you're just repeating this again and again and again for all your bubbles. If you do have bubbles that are kind of overlapped like this, um, you're just going to want to pick one bubble that is going to be that front bubble in that foreground. Um, so your color would kind of go on top of that line, if that makes sense to you at home. Okay. Um, some of your bubbles, if they're small, like this one is a smaller size, so I only picked red and yellow. I kept it kind of simple. You don't need to have exactly 4 colors in every single bubble. You can do as many as you want. I would say just no more than 4, because then that gets too, you're filling it in way into the middle more, okay? And I'm going to keep fast forwarding it. And then so the next thing that I'm going to show you guys, this video got cut off, is adding that movement, okay? So this whole project that we're focusing on is about movement and art. Right now, I know in my head that when you blow bubbles, they do float around. That's the whole point of bubbles. That's the fun part about bubbles. Um, on my paper, yes, it kind of looks like I could imply that they're kind of moving around, but we want to add some actual movement lines to really show that our bubbles are moving. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that white color that you used again. Um, Oh, first, sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. If you would like to add some popped bubbles, you can add, it's pretty much you're doing just kind of like a star of lines moving outwards and then little dots around the outside, and that will give it a look of a popped bubble. Okay, so that also creates movement because it's showing like it actually kind of exploding and popping. And then you can see here, that's where I'm adding my movement lines, and it's just kind of curving lines that are kind of going from behind a bubble kind of outward. Um, I work from the outside into the bubble, um, but that just kind of gives it a sense of direction. They're kind of all going in this direction like it's sweeping across the paper. So maybe if it was a windy day, the wind would be going across. And then you can fill in as many pop bubbles as you want. But again, I always talk to kindergartners about this, about not making your artwork look too crowded or a little bit too crazy. So we need to find a balance in what we add. Okay, so I'm gonna rewind it, and this is kind of like the finished look. So you can see that there's the movement lines, there's only a few pop bubbles, there's our regular bubbles. You notice I did leave some of my actual bubbles just plain white, that you can have that option too. Um, but yeah, so I hope you guys have a lot of fun with this. I hope you are able to use the supplies and kind of add those colors. Again, the most important takeaway from this step is to leave the middles of your bubbles empty. Okay, you're just working on the outer edge, and you want to also make sure you leave a little space. All right. Well, I hope you guys have fun. I can't wait to see how they come out. Again, you can email me anytime with questions or with the picture of how you did. All right. I will chat with you guys next week. Bye.